Do you ever wonder how your toddler hears you drop one single bad word and suddenly it's their favorite phrase? But when you ask them to say thank you, they look at you like you're speaking ancient Greek. That's the sensitive period at work. Today we're going to dive deep into these magical windows of development, why they exist, spoiler, they're part of our evolutionary survival, and how you can leverage them to make learning easy, joyful, and tantrum-free, well, mostly. And don't worry, this isn't just me rambling. I've got hard science, real-life research, and some hilarious parenting fails that will make you feel seen and validated. So go grab the sensory periods cheat sheets from the show notes below, hide in a closet from your kid for 10 minutes if you have to, and let's get into it. Hey, my friend, and welcome to the Anya Garcia Show. Here, we will explore the science of learning, the art of parenting, and the mindset shifts that help you simplify your journey to amplify your growth. You see, I thought I would find purpose in courtrooms until motherhood showed me it was waiting at home. So I traded my attorney briefcase for the beauty of homeschooling, depositions for diapers, and settlements for sensory play. I stepped off the legal path so that I can walk it with you, because parenting doesn't come with a manual or legal briefs, so no wonder it can feel overwhelming and messy. But I see you showing up every day, even when no one is watching. And that little voice, am I doing enough? I hear it too. But here is the truth. You don't need more to be enough, because more doesn't create peace. Alignment does. Progress matters more than perfection, and when you stop doubting, you start leading with confidence. And before you know it, you have created a space where you and your child thrive. Because humans are born with this natural desire to learn and grow, and I am here to help you harness that. Your child's potential is limitless, and so is yours. We just need to unlock it. So today we are unlocking something truly mind-blowing. You see, your child from birth till age 6 is wired for learning with the power of effortless absorption, soaking up the world around them like a sponge. And it's not just intelligence, it's an unstoppable force that shapes who they become. This force is what Dr. Maria Montessori described as sensitive periods. When children don't just learn at random, they go through these predictable phases where certain skill comes effortlessly. Think of them as nature's built-in blueprint for when and how kids learn best. And the thing is, you don't have to force it. When you understand these natural phases, you can work with your child's natural development instead of against it. Goodbye, power struggles. Hello, smoother days. So the 6 key sensitive periods we'll cover today are sensory refinement, language, order, attention to small objects, movement, and social behavior, each shaping how your child learns, interacts, and experiences the world. And don't worry about taking notes. I've already done the homework for you. Grab the cheat sheet from the show notes below, where I included a visual chart breaking down each sensitive period and when it happens. Because let's be real, you're probably listening to this while negotiating snack time or reheating the same cup of coffee for the 3rd time, only to forget it in a microwave. I totally did it. Now, let's jump in, starting with the first one. Sensory refinement. Okay, picture this. You just mopped the floor, like for the first time in 3 weeks, and within seconds, your toddler is on the ground licking it. Why? Because they are in the sensitive period for sensory refinement. For kids under age 5, their entire brain is built to absorb the world through their senses: touching, tasting, smelling. This is how they gather data. Their brains are literally hardwired to crave sensory input. And science backs this up. Dr. Liz Elliott, a neuroscientist, discovered that by the age 3, a child's brain is already 80% developed. And what fuels this rapid growth? Sensory experiences. Every time your child squashes mashed potato with their hands, or sniffs every candle in a store, or insists on licking the shopping cart, why do they do that? They are actually wiring their brain for lifelong learning. Now, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of numbers and page reference, so all the citations are in the show notes below. Now, think about our ancestors. If a toddler did not explore with their senses, they wouldn't learn which berries were safe to eat, how to recognize fire, or how to survive in the wild. Their survival depended on sensory input. Now, let's travel back to real-life mom moment. You hand your child a perfectly good meal, and they refuse to eat it. But find a Cheerio on a car floor from last week, and suddenly it's fine dining. Now, how can we leverage it? Give them lots of sensory experiences. Play with textures, sand, water, scented herbs. Instead of saying, "Don't touch that," say, "Let's feel this" instead. Use Montessori materials like the pink tower, sound cylinders, or smelling bottles to refine their senses with structured play. Now, let's move on to the next one. Have you ever noticed how your kid will ignore you when you call their name, but they will repeat that one embarrassing thing you said in Target? Well, this is because your child is in the sensitive period for language. And their brain is like this high-speed recording device. In fact, from birth till 6, children can absorb multiple languages effortlessly, picking up grammar and vocabulary without even trying. And science backs this up. Research by Patricia Cull, a leading neuroscientist at the University of Washington, discovered something incredible. Babies under 7 months old are like mini language geniuses, able to recognize sound from every language on earth. But by their first birthday, their brain starts filtering out unfamiliar sounds, locking in on the language they hear most. So start early if you still can. Now, how is this evolutionary? You see, our ancestors survived by passing knowledge down through storytelling. The strongest tribes were those with effective communication. So humans evolved to absorb language early and fast. Now, what can you do? Read books, sing songs, and introduce new words every day. But of course, the first full sentence they will proudly say in public, loudly, "Mommy, you farted." And everyone looks at you, right? So how can you leverage the sensitive period? Talk to them constantly. Narrate your day like you are a reality TV show. Read out loud every day. Even if they don't seem to be listening, their brain is absorbing everything. You can also use I Spy or rhyming games to build phonetic awareness. And if possible, expose them to multiple languages. According to Patricia Cull, start at birth if possible. All right, let's move on and talk about something that every parent had experienced, but no one warned us about it. The moment when your toddler loses their mind because the banana broke in half, or because you poured their milk into the wrong cup, or my personal favorite, because you dared to cut their sandwich into triangles instead of squares. Now, what is happening? your child is in the sensitive period for order. A 2005 study in a Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry found that toddlers who experience disruptions in routine show higher stress hormone levels and increased emotional reactivity. And way before that, 100 years ago, Dr. Maria Montessori observed that children in this phase crave predictability because their developing brain is trying to make sense of the world. Now, how's this evolutionary? Okay, think back to cave life. Predictability was life or death. If things were out of order, let's say your spear wasn't where you left it, you might not survive a lion attack. Toddlers aren't dramatic. They are literally wired to believe that order equals safety. Now, a real life mom moment. Your toddler loses it because you put their stuffed bunny in a wrong spot on their bed. But instead of feeling frustrated, just remember, the brain is desperately trying to create logic in their world. So, how can you leverage it? Keep routines predictable. I mean, meals, bedtime, and play schedules matter. Involve them in organization. Let them help set the table or put their toys back where they belong. Instead of fighting their need for order, lean into it. If they want to line up their shoes by color, let them. It's their way of understanding their world. Now, the next sensitive period I call the tiny treasure collector, and that is the attention to small objects. Ever find your toddler obsessed with lint, crumbs, and microscopic specks of dirt? Or they spend 20 minutes examining a single blade of grass while you're desperately trying to get to the house after already extended walk? Welcome to the sensitive period for small objects, where tiny things become the center of the universe. Now, how does science back this up? Research from the University of California found that toddlers' attention to small details helps develop pattern recognition, problem solving, and fine motor skills. And long before that, Dr. Maria Montessori observed that this phase was critical for pre-writing skills, as children's ability to manipulate small objects strengthens hand-eye coordination. Now, how's this evolutionary, you would ask? Okay, now picture our hunter-gatherer ancestors. If they didn't notice the small details, like animal tracks or which plants were safe to eat, their survival was at risk. You see, this sensitivity helped early humans sharpen their observational skills and pass them down. Now, I'm sure you can relate. You splurged on a $50 toy expecting pure joy, but instead, your child spends hours captivated by a random paperclip they found on the floor. Now, lesson learned, save your money and just raid the junk drawer. Okay, how can you leverage it? Give them safe small objects to explore. Think beads, buttons, or if you have a mouthing toddler, give them Cheerio, cereal, whatever edible small items they can manipulate. Try sorting and matching games to refine their attention to detail. And let them thread, scoop, and transfer tiny items to build those fine motor skills. Okay, moving on to number 5, which I call the human tornado phase. And I'm sure you guessed it. Have you ever wondered why your toddler never stops moving? Why do they run in circles for no reason? Launch themselves into the couch like a superhero mid-flight, or climb furniture like they're training for the Olympics? Welcome to the sensitive period for movement, and their brain depends on it. Now, how does science back this up? A Harvard University study found that gross motor movement, like walking, running, climbing, stimulates brain growth and executive functions in young children. Well, we all heard it. As your body moves, your brain grooves. It applies to adults too. Now, forget about executive function. Dr. Maria Montessori observed that movement is directly tied to intellectual development. Children learn through action, not passive observation. Now, how is this evolutionary? You see, back in cave times, movement was everything. If kids weren't running, climbing, and testing their strength, they would not survive in the wild. That's simple. Okay, let's travel back to current time. I'm sure you have tried reading a book to your preschooler only to find them hanging off the couch upside down, waving their arms like they're conducting an invisible orchestra. Welcome to the sensitive period for movement. So, how can you leverage it? Let them move. Incorporate movement into learning, like jumping while counting. And instead of saying, sit still, give them tasks that involve action, like pouring, scooping, or balancing. And get outdoors. Provide outdoor play, climbing, and dancing to develop coordination and get fresh air. And now we've made it to the final one. And trust me, you have seen this one in action. It's the sensitive period for social behavior. When kids suddenly transform into master negotiators, expert rule enforcers, and tiny debate champions. Okay, tell me, have you ever noticed your 3-year-old suddenly caring about rules, fairness, and who gets the last cookie? That's because they are in the sensitive period for social behavior. And science backs this up. A Stanford University study found that between ages 3 and 5, the brain regions responsible for empathy and cooperation show a major growth spurt. And Dr. Maria Montessori observed that children at this stage crave social structure. They naturally practice grace and courtesy and fairness, as if try to make sense of social norms. Ever had a preschooler demand you say please before handing you your own coffee? Or insist that their sibling gets the exact same number of crackers? Yep, that's the sensitive period in action. Now, why is this evolutionary? You see, humans survived in tribes. We needed social skills to cooperate, hunt, and protect each other. Without social bonding, early humans would not have thrived as a species. Now, if your child corrects you for not saying excuse me, but happily screams at their sibling for touching their toy, you'll know exactly what to do. Model kindness and respect. Kids learn by example. Teach grace and courtesy lessons through role-playing. Create opportunities for teamwork and connection. Think group games, collaborative art projects, or even cook together where everyone has a role. So here we go. Now you've got an understanding of your child's sensitive periods. Don't forget to download the cheat sheet in the show notes below and use these Windows opportunities as your secret weapon and use them wisely. These are not phases to fix. They are opportunities to nurture. So next time your kid is licking the dog or organizing their toys into a color-coded system that puts the container store to shame, or climbing the kitchen counter like a jungle gym, you'll know exactly what's happening. They are not being weird. They're being children. And you, instead of stopping them, you can guide them. And that's Montessori magic. Now go forth, embrace the chaos, and trust the process. Thank you so much for being here. Now, do your future self a favor. Hit that follow button so you never miss an episode. And if what I shared resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. That's how we create a ripple effect of change together. As always, my goal is to be bold, to challenge, to spark, to share from the heart. And now it's your turn to act, because action brings clarity. So go be present with your child, nurture their curiosity, and create moments that matter. Because children, they are like diamonds in a rough, brilliant, boundless, just waiting for the right spark to shine. Now, go, be that spark, and I'll see you soon.